what's going on in Europe, I'm sure that you know about the case of Colonel Jacques, and they're putting sanctions on him because they don't like what he's talking about when it comes to the conflict in Ukraine. They want to silence him. And we know, you remember J.D. Vance going to Europe saying that Europe is turning into a dictatorship. And these people are not, pro-Russians. They're anti-war. They don't want war. They don't see any benefit coming out of the war in Ukraine for Europe or any European countries. What is your take, and particularly on the case of, Colonel Jacques?
It's authoritarianism in the extreme form. It's the antithesis of democracy. I mean, the European Union is, running around lauding itself as, the last bastion of democracy, saying they're even better than the United States, and they have free speech. They have freedoms. It's the exact opposite. These are oppressive societies that suppress free speech across the board. These are, the European Union is this artificial construct that is the antithesis of sovereignty. It seeks to, bring to life a Frankenstein monster of, an amalgam of European nations and cultures that stand for nothing except oppression, because they don't have any fundamental values. They're there to empower. I mean, literally, the European Union exists to empower entitled political and economic elites. It was created by them, for them, on their behalf. That's it. They're not here to promote any values. They're not here to help, populations. They're there to enrich themselves and their supporters. And, the Ukraine war has become a vehicle of sustainment for these political and economic elites. And anybody who dares put forward a narrative, especially a fact-based narrative, drawn from European facts as opposed to Russian facts, as Jacques Ball has done. He simply uses the truth as recognized by the Europeans. There's not a single fact in his writing that is under dispute. It's just the way he connects the dots, exposes the lies and the hypocrisy of the European elite. And so they silenced him. Look, I was invited to go to Europe in March to promote my new book, which is being published in several European languages. I'm not going because, frankly speaking, they'll arrest me. And I just don't want to go through that harassment. I'm not afraid of these people, but, my daughter's giving birth to a baby. I want to be home for them instead of fighting some stupid legal case in a European court. Europe is a place that can't be visited right now. If you're an American, don't visit Europe because they don't believe in free speech. They don't have American values. They are the opposite of that. And right now they're turning on America. I mean, they are actively conspiring in a way that hurts the national security of the United States. Europe is the enemy. Donald Trump was right to point this out in his national security strategy. I mean, Europe is headed towards civilization erasure because there is no European civilization anymore. The European Union is not civilization. It's a dictatorship by any other name. They are working against our interests. They are promoting war. They are breaking the law and reinventing the law, trying to steal sovereign wealth from Russia. There's no legal justification for anything they're doing. They just say it's good for Europe, and therefore they come up with different variations of a theme. Taxation without representation, just again promoting everything they claim not to stand for is what they're promoting. I can't go to Europe. I think you would have trouble going to Europe after some of the things that you platform me. So you're automatically guilty. You're going to go to hell. And it's just ridiculous. It's a parody. I mean, it's bad. They're so stupid that they think that we don't know history. They're reinventing the Second World War right now, pretending Russia simply didn't play a role in the defeat of Nazi Germany. I mean, Kali Kalas is just a colossal embarrassment to humanity. I mean, she's just beyond it. The stupidity of her statements are beyond belief. You got Sikorski, the Polish foreign minister, who wants to pretend that Poland is the friend of Ukraine. Study your damn history. I have. I know it better than you, apparently. I know that, for instance, Poland suppressed Western Ukrainian independence in the Polish-Ukrainian conflict from 1918 to 1919. And then during the Polish-Soviet conflict from 1919 to 1921, you destroyed Ukrainian independence. Poland hates Ukraine. Study the history of Poland. I'm not going to justify what the Ukrainians did in Volhynia in 1943. That cannot be justified. But understand there was deep resentment from the Ukrainian population about the arrogance and the elitism of the Poles, who treated the Ukrainians like utter crap, because Poland never believed in Ukraine, doesn't believe in Ukraine today. They just have been hijacked by these globalists, these European elites who buy into this, fake notion of. I think when it's all said and done, they start parsing through. Once the European Union collapses and the records are opened, you're going to find that the European Union as a construct was one of the most fundamentally corrupt institutions on the planet, because there is no checks and balances. They literally are a law unto themselves, and the people that are empowered by them politically do things. They're starting to look at, the former foreign minister, I forget her, it begins with an M, Margarita or more, she's under investigation. Wait till Ursula von der Leyen, they open the books on her and see what she did and what they all do. We mock Ukraine for being the most corrupt place on earth, but corruption begets corruption. And, the European Union is extraordinarily corrupt too. So this is a travesty. I mean, it's actually good that we see the truth about the European Union. So there's no, nostalgia over Europe. This isn't your grandfather's Europe. This is a new Europe, a sick Europe, a diseased Europe, and a Europe that's fundamentally anti-American. And as an American, and I know there's people out there, Scott, America, you're a hypocrite. Hey, screw you. I don't care about you guys. What I care about is what's happening right now. I understand my history better than you do. Remember who stood up against the Iraq war, who called out the United States as, the perpetrator of an illegal war of aggression, who's standing up the United States today, accusing them of preparing to carry out a similar illegal war of aggression in Venezuela. So pound sand. I know my history and I know my role as a citizen, but I also know that my government is making an effort to undo the sins of the past by promoting peace with Russia. That's why we promulgated a national security strategy that doesn't define Russia as an enemy or adversary, but rather as an ally of stability, a force of stability, a partner for stability. Pretty amazing stuff. The two largest nuclear armed nations in the world, instead of posturing off against each other for potential nuclear annihilation, talking about normalization of relations, something everybody should want, except apparently the Europeans, who are pushing us towards nuclear Armageddon. And I take umbrage at that. So no, Europe is the enemy. Russia is the friend. And what they're doing to Jacques Baud is a travesty.
When you talk about Europe, do you draw a line between the people in Europe and the leadership in Europe? Or you see that the public opinion somehow was wrapped up in somehow in some sort of thick propaganda? That's why the public opinion is not that much critical of the leadership in Europe.
It's tough. Look, I know for a fact that there's Europeans right now who disagree with the policies of the European Union. There's Germans who disagree with the policies of what Germany's doing. There's French people who disagree with the policies of Macron, British who disagree with the policies of Starmer. I know that there's good people in Europe. So you don't want to paint everybody with a broad brush. But if you're German, understand this. You are an enemy state. I'm not making it up. It's in the United Nations Charter, Article 53, Article 107. Oh, Scott, it's outdated. No, it's not. It's still the law. They haven't amended the charter. Well, in 1995, they passed a resolution by the General Assembly saying that it was moot, that these are good countries now. That was then. This is now. Nations change. And what we're seeing is Germany and Japan going back to the aggressive policies of the past. I mean, Germany literally could be taking.
Hi guys, welcome to Global Update with Destiny. I believe from the clip of the video you just watched now, hearing directly from this man of wisdom, I believe you understand every single thing this man said in this video, that the collapse of America has just begun. Guys, this reaction started ever since happenings in White House, and people are not taking things easy because what they are seeing is not what they are expecting to see from America, US. This thing that you are seeing, they are not. It's not only in only America. They are still even mentioning 7 Western countries that their collapse has begun. Example, they mention France. So what is the problem of what is the cause? And how can they solve this? Please let's share our thoughts in the comment box, because a lot is happening as we speak, but many people might not have the knowledge of it. Thank you for tuning in. Turn your bell notification. Don't forget to subscribe.